Welcome to this lecture on the basics of neuroscience. Today, we are going to explore one of the most vital structures in the human body, the spinal cord. Often overshadowed by the brain, the spinal cord is actually the unsung hero of our nervous system. Without it, our brain would be completely isolated from the outside world. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how this incredible biological structure works. Now that we have introduced our topic, let us understand what the spinal cord actually does. Imagine your brain is a powerful supercomputer sitting safely inside the protective vault of your skull. For this brilliant computer to actually do anything useful, it needs a massive, high-speed cable connecting it to all the printers, sensors, and motors in the outside world. In your body, this high-speed cable is the spinal cord. It is a thick, delicate bundle of nerve fibers running down your back. It acts as the ultimate communication highway, making sure the brain and the body are always talking to each other in real time. Building on that idea of a communication highway, let us look at how this highway is physically structured. Anatomically, the spinal cord is a long, cylindrical extension of the central nervous system that begins at the brainstem. It is divided into 31 distinct segments, each giving rise to a pair of spinal nerves. If you slice it horizontally, you see two main regions. The inner, butterfly-shaped region is the gray matter, packed with cell bodies that act as local processing centers. Surrounding it is the white matter, which consists of bundles of myelinated axons. These are the actual biological wires carrying sensory data up and motor commands down. To visualize what we just discussed, let us examine this cross-section of the spinal cord. Right in the center, you can clearly see the butterfly-shaped gray matter. Notice how it is divided into the dorsal horn, which receives incoming sensory signals, and the ventral horn, which sends out motor commands. Surrounding this gray matter is the white matter, the region responsible for high-speed vertical transmission to and from the brain. On the left and right, you can see the dorsal and ventral roots, which are the entry and exit ramps for our biological highway, connecting the spinal cord to the rest of the body. Having seen the anatomy, let us explore why this structure is so critical for our survival. The spinal cord does not just passively transmit data. It handles independent emergency processing. It contains built-in reflex arcs that can trigger an action before the brain even knows what happened, like instantly jerking your hand away from a hot stove. Because it is the sole highway for these signals, severe damage is devastating. If the cord is cut, the brain can no longer control or feel the body below the level of the injury, leading to conditions like paraplegia or quadriplegia. This is why protecting the spinal cord is absolutely essential. Understanding the severe consequences of spinal damage leads us to look closer at how these signals actually travel. To truly appreciate the spinal cord as an information highway, we must look at the speed of the signals in the white matter tracks. These electrical signals, known as action potentials, travel along spinal nerve fibers. The speed at which they travel is called the conduction velocity. This speed depends heavily on myelin, a fatty insulating layer wrapped around the nerve fiber. Just like the rubber coating on an electrical wire prevents power leakage, myelin prevents signal leakage, ensuring that the electrical impulses reach their destination as fast as possible. Now that we know how signals travel, let us look at the mathematics behind their speed. We can calculate the basic conduction velocity of a signal traveling up or down the spinal cord using the fundamental kinematic equation for constant speed. The formula is V equals D divided by T. Here, the variable V represents the conduction velocity of the nerve impulse, measured in meters per second. The variable D stands for the physical distance the signal must travel along the spinal cord, measured in meters. Finally, the variable T represents the time it takes for the signal to travel that distance, measured in seconds. If the distance increases, like in a taller person, the time required must also increase if the velocity remains constant. Before we move on, let us see this formula in action with a concrete example. Imagine you accidentally step on a sharp piece of glass barefoot. A pain signal must travel from your foot to your brain. We are given a total distance of 1.5 meters and a healthy conduction velocity of 30 meters per second. We want to find out exactly how long it takes for this pain signal to reach your brain. We plug our values into the formula, giving us 30 equals 1.5 divided by t. Rearranging this, we divide 1.5 by 3. The final answer is 0.05 seconds, or 50 milliseconds. This incredibly fast transmission explains why you can react almost instantly to danger. Now that we have used this formula to find time, let us formally understand the algebraic rearrangement we just performed. We are setting out to derive a direct formula for time. We start with our base equation, V equals D divided by T. To isolate the time variable, our first mathematical step is to multiply both sides by T. This cancels T in the denominator and brings it to the numerator on the left, giving us V times T equals D. Next, we divide both sides by the velocity variable V. This successfully isolates T, resulting in the formula T equals D divided by V. This standard procedure is incredibly useful in neuroscience when we know the speed and distance but need to find the duration. With our mathematical tools in place, let us consider a clinical scenario where this biological wiring fails. Multiple sclerosis is a devastating disease where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks and destroys the myelin insulation around the axons in the spinal cord. Because this protective myelin is damaged, the electrical signals leak out into the surrounding tissue. As a result, the signals travel much slower down the axon. The high-speed information highway becomes a sluggish, broken road. This drop in conduction velocity has profound effects on how quickly the brain can communicate with the body, which we will calculate next. Let us apply our derived formula to see exactly how demyelination impacts our patient. Suppose the same patient from our previous example now has a damaged spinal tract. The physical distance remains 1.5 meters, but the conduction velocity has dropped drastically to just 2 meters per second. We want to calculate the new transmission time. Using our rearranged formula, T equals D divided by V, we plug in 1.5 for the numerator and 2 for the denominator. Performing this simple division gives us a final time of 0.75 seconds, or 750 milliseconds. Physically, this massive delay means the patient might stumble while walking because their brain is receiving delayed feedback from their feet. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us summarize the most important ideas. First, the spinal cord is the essential communication bridge between the brain and the peripheral nervous system. Second, its highly organized structure uses gray matter for local reflex processing and white matter tracts for high-speed signal transmission. Finally, the speed of these signals relies heavily on myelin insulation and is governed by basic kinematic principles. This speed dictates our ability to interact smoothly and safely with the world. You now have a solid foundation in the basics of the spinal cord. Great job, and keep exploring the wonders of neuroscience.